It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says Tara.
And Tiger Tara rolls away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to episode number 96 of the Sprint Lane podcast series for Harness Racing New South Wales. I have to try and come up with something special for episode number 100. My name is Greg Hayes. This is the Sunday session where I look at what is happening in harness racing in New South Wales and horses trained in the state, but competing in the Winter Carnival in Queensland. Spoke with David Thorne on the podcast last week about Ever Art after her win in the Redcliffe Oaks. Well, we've had a big night. Big night at Albion Park, and congratulations to a few trainers. We start with Ricky Alchin this week after Pandia took out the Queen of Hearts pace. Ricky's up in Queensland with a fair-sized team. He'll have bigger races to compete in coming weeks, but it was good to see him winning a race during the Carnival. It was actually a New South Wales trifecta in that race with Tay for Jason Grimson second and it's Ebony and Ivory for Luke McCarthy in third. Speaking of Luke McCarthy, he got a double at Albion Park with I Keep Smiling and Rock and Roll Hammer both winning. Kerry-Ann Morris got the last winner with American Spirit. Husband Robbie is suspended, but he's up there with the team and he'll be back driving on Wednesday, I think, from the enforced break. And Seaton Grimer also won a race with My Moonlight Dream. Amazing to see the success New South Wales horses are having, and I've got no doubt that will continue with another couple of leading stables heading north in the next few days for a shot at the Carnival. Biggest draw card was Leap to Fame. He was back doing what he does best when he won the Wandai's Mate. Drew Barrier 1, which looked to be his biggest concern, but once Dixon was able to get off the inside in the first couple of 100 metres, he dominated the race and won by more than 3 metres in a mile rate of 150.2. I do want to give the Queensland team a rap on the coverage of their races. That drone shot of the start is great. Now, I'm not a fan of all the different angles as a punter when I'm watching races. I like the one shot, the lateral shot, so you can get a clear idea of what's happening and where all the horses are, and the constant cutting and changing of angles for me can be off-putting. However, that drone shot is an absolute ripper. It allowed people to perfectly see what was happening with Leap to Fame because he got crossed early, but you could see Grant just making room for him to get off the inside. And if you'd been locked on that lateral shot, you wouldn't have seen it. Seeing Grant ease and make room for himself to get off the pegs was clear to see in that drone shot, and I think Queensland should be congratulated. Some tracks just put in cuts and angles for the hell of it. Queensland has come up with a really great televised product, and a few states could pick up some great pointers from them. Interesting to see Cam Hart in Brisbane driving Frankie Ferocious for Jason Grimson in race 3. Look, unfortunately, it didn't go to plan for Cam and Jason, with the horse finishing 9th in a race where they ran 150.1 and they went from start to finish, but good to see that Cam's still getting opportunities from the stable. Now, in saying all of that, Club Menangle raced on Saturday night, and that was dominated by one man, and that was Will Rixon. He carved up. He had 4 winners from the 8 races. I remember doing a media presentation in front of Will for Harness Racing New South Wales when he was part of the Rising Stars, and that was before I left Sky, so probably going back 5 years. He was really receptive during that presentation. He sat and listened, and you get an idea when you're making these presentations whether the kids are listening to you or not. And Will would have he would have been a teenager at that time. And it's great to see how far he has come. Now, I'm not just talking about his driving ability. He's a great young bloke. He obviously goes extremely well as a driver, but he talks so well to boot. I'm really looking forward to catching up with him today. Spoke with him just over a month ago on the podcast, so great to have him back on today. Rainbow Jester continued on its winning way, winning the Group 2 trot final for the 2-year-olds. I spoke with Dennis after the horse won the Nutrien final in Melbourne, and I think it's about time that we catch up with Dennis again and find out what's next for this outstanding juvenile. He looks right out of the box. He's clearly head and shoulders above his rivals in New South Wales. Might be a different story when he gets to Victoria later in the year, but we'll find out what Dennis has in store for him before the end of 2024. And finally today, some big announcements made during the week in regards to the Carnival of Cups, especially the Tamworth meeting on January 17 and the list of performers who will be hitting the stage. So I thought I'd speak with the Marketing and Communications Manager for Harness Racing New South Wales, Paul Cochrane, and just find out a little bit more about what we can expect. And I want to have a chat to him about the Carnival of Cups as well, because Parkes, Young, Tamworth, Albury and Penrith. So Young, Tamworth and Albury all stay on the roster. No Cowra, no Goulburn. And we see all the meetings go to a Friday night. So I want to speak to Paul about those changes and find out what clubs did right or what clubs did wrong to remain as part of the Carnival of Cups. Should be a good podcast. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get straight into it. First up, I'm going to speak with Will Rixon.
As they're about to round the bend, 400 metres to go, 29 seconds the quarter. Tishan Raider steadied it up through the middle part of the race. Now tries to assert its dominance on the field. Leads the way from Uga Chaka, which is up for the fight. Now Sheffield Sparky comes to the outside. Jody Ed's trying to find a needle eye opening between runners, but Uga Chaka hit the front from Tishan Raider. Very late, Sheffield Sparky. It's Uga Chaka. Sheffield Sparky's coming, but I don't think he's coming quick enough, and Uga Chaka flops in. Will Rixon with 4 on the card.
Huge night for Will Rixon at Tabcorp Park Menangle. 4 winners on the program and just had a night out, really, and he's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, Will. Well done.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, no, it was a really good night and really grateful to get the opportunity to drive some really nice horses for good trainers.
Mate, is that your best Saturday night performance?
Yeah, it would be. I been lucky enough sort of the last 12 months to have some good nights and a few trebles, but fours would be the best I've done. So yeah, really happy with that.
And best part about it, you drove a couple for your dad, so you'll be in the good books at home as well. Mate, let's start out with race number 1, Jillaby Nitro. The horse has been in super form of late, and he's been a great horse since he's joined the stable, and he just keeps turning up and winning these races.
Yeah, super impressed with him tonight, Greg. I sort of thought once Pluto got an easy lead and got that cheap second quarter, it would have been really hard to run him down, and even sort of going past the cages, the speed wasn't quick, and it just forced me to, probably go 50 to 100 metres too early than I would normally like, but I just wasn't too big of a start. So for him to move like he did and wear him down in a quick last quarter, I thought he went terrific.
Yeah, 26.9 up the straight, and you were giving Bluto a fair start turning for home, so he's really broken the clock the last 400 metres.
Yeah, he would have, and he felt that way. Like, once I pulled him out, he just moved so good, and I actually, even though I was letting him start, the way he moved, I sort of thought straight away that I had him just because he, sort of going 2 to fall in front of him 1. So, Mum and Dad has done a really good job with him, and hopefully he can continue on.
He's been a great money spinner since he's joined the team. I think he's had 8 starts for your mum and dad and, a couple of wins and 3 or 4 placings as well. So he's just been ultra consistent.
Yeah, definitely. He's, helped the Leeds, brought down, a little team, the Leeds and Cravens, and they just thought the racing at Menangle really suited him, which it does. And so we're pretty grateful to them to leave him in mum and dad's care, and they had him in great condition, and the 2 runs he put in Menangle before mum and dad got him were really good. So it was good to, definitely a nice horse to have in the team.
Mate, going to the races on Saturday, you probably thought Brooklyn Bridge was probably one of your better winning chances, and unfortunately beaten into 7th spot, but was beaten less than 4 metres, so didn't do a bad job. What did you make of Brooklyn Bridge?
Yeah, he wasn't a bad run, Greg. He sort of burnt the can a little bit early, more than I would have liked. He travelled like he was nearly going to win, and then sort of decided his run the last bit, but he had quite a hard run last week in that really quick lead time of the 2300, and he was first up, on that night last week. So he maybe just wasn't quite as sharp as we know he can be tonight. But Jared's a great trainer, and I'm sure he'll get him back. Might even just freshen him up a little bit and get him back to his 100% in the coming weeks.
Dance and Deliver won race number 3, barrier number 1. Gee, he's another one that's been ultra consistent for your parents' stable for the last few months.
Yeah, he's done a terrific job. Like, that's his 6th Metro win story for us. So, any horse to win 6 races in a Metro is a really hard thing to do, and it just keeps getting better. Runs the quickest time again the 9 and 50 and 8. So, if you told me he was running 50 miles 12 months ago, I would have laughed at you, but he's just got better and better. And, Mum and Dad have done a great job with him, and he's he's stepping up.
Is it just that consistent racing where he's able to just you can put him to sleep and bring him with the one run?
I think so. He's got a high cruising speed, and he just travels so well in the hot tempo. When they roll solid sectionals, you can feel horses come off the bridle, but he seems to follow it really well and just travel so well in the strong sectionals. So when the races roll along, he just seems to really bring him into it. And I just think the consistent racing at Menangle's really improved him.
When did you think you were the winner in that race?
Not to be arrogant, but probably sort of the 500-600. Martello was coming first over, and he just, because of the quick third quarter, he wasn't moving up quick enough to keep you pocketed in.
Yep.
And obviously the leader and the behind leader, horse, Golden Bay and Alderman Bird did a lot of work in that first quarter. So I was just the way he travelled and knowing that I could have waited to the top of the straight to come with my run, I was quite confident at that stage.
Race 4, you made it 3 out of the first 4 when I'm Rocking It won for Alex Alchin. They were coming from everywhere here, but I'm Rocking It was able to get the win.
Yeah, he enjoyed quite a nice run. He just off a really nice spot, and he's a really speedy little horse. And can't give Alex too much credit because his partner Alana does a lot of work with him, and she does such a great job looking after him. And it was a big thrill to win on him tonight because Alex and Alana work really hard, and they do a great job with their horses. So I know tonight meant a lot to them. So it was a big thrill.
You were driving Victory Hill, another one for Jared that was favourite going around in race number 6, and the horse began so well off the stand. You were getting through them nicely, and then up in the air it went.
Yeah, it's frustrating. He's a horse with a good ability, but can just do a couple of things wrong like that every now and again. And, he stepped so well and was looking like he was going to get a nice run through, and he didn't really give me much warning. He just got on the wrong leg and jumped out of it. So that was a shame. Felt as though if he did everything right, he would have been a really good chance. So that was a shame.
So that was all him. There was no interference or anything like that.
Yeah, the only thing I said to Jared was sometimes when you got a wall of horses in front of you and you're a bit off their backs, it can get quite a lot of kickback from the dirt from the track.
Yep.
And he didn't really give me any warning, so I just didn't know whether he sort of might have got a bit of dirt to his head or something enough to just throw him off. But no interference or anything.
What about race 8, Ugachaka, a horse that spent a fair bit of time in Queensland, turns up in New South Wales for David Aiken, and you were pretty kind to him over the concluding stages. It looked as though you were pretty confident despite them coming at you in the last 150.
Yeah, he's a beautiful horse. It really took me eye when I come to drive him. I hadn't seen him before, and he just looked $1 million. I was confident straight away, and his runs in Queensland, his last 2 were quite impressive as well. So, he sort of mentioned to me that he's quite good off the helmet. So it was looking good early, and then when he got left outside him at the half, I was a little concerned, but he never left the bridle, and I was really impressed with his win. He won well, and I think you'll see him do a really good job at Menangle in the coming league.
Mate, I spoke with David Thorne last week on the podcast, and we were having a chat about Everard, and I asked him about you going up to drive the horse, and he said it came as a bit of a shock that you were willing to go because he saw that you would have had a strong book of drives at Menangle on the Saturday night. You obviously made the decision to go up and drive Everard. It was a good one. It's come out and won the Redcliffe Oaks. Was it a tough decision for you? She's obviously a talented filly, but with some of the big boys away, there's some very, very nice drives in Sydney. So you had to give up a pretty handy book of drives to go up and drive there at Redcliffe last Saturday night.
Yeah, it sure was. It was a really tough decision, to be honest. Like it, I had some nice drives here for trainers that I've driven a lot, but she's a class filly over on, and I knew drawing well at Redcliffe is such a big advantage, and I give her a chance in the race. And David Thorne's a great trainer, and he has always a nice little team. So for him to, him and the owners Murray to put trust in me to want to fly me up and drive up, I wanted to. I just thought that was a good opportunity, and a good opportunity for me to drive for a really good stable in Thornies and be a chance in good races up there with her. So I didn't know at the time if it was the right one, but it turned out that she went so well and run such a good time. So looking forward to getting back up there to drive her again. She's a really nice filly.
Thought he was saying that the main aim up there, obviously, will compete in the Oaks races, but the race that he was looking at was the Q-Bred, and that would be a race that would be right up her alley.
Yeah, it looks that way. She, as a 2-year-old, she sat past it and running a good second, and it probably seems as though she's come back a better horse at 3, like what she's done so far. So. Hopefully all goes well with her in the next, couple of runs, and she keeps racing well, and I think she's going to be, one of the leading chances in that series. So looking forward to that.
So, mate, is there anything else up there for you when you head up? Do you basically just hope that you pick up another couple of drives, or do you know of any other stables that would be looking to put you on any of their horses while you're up there?
Not 100% at this stage, but I know Jared Ouchin's taking the team up, and I think he might have been looking to have 2 in the Great Square race,
yep.
2 3-year-olds. So hopefully they both get a run, and I could probably jump on one of them. And not 100% sure with Blazing Home. If he gets in the Rising Sun, if he got in the Rising Sun, I'd say I'd be a chance of driving him. So yeah, we'll see what happens early next week, but hopefully I can have a couple other drives.
Well, mate, you're driving in unbelievable form. I remember speaking with you on the podcast recently, and I was having a chat with Freddie Hastings, and he reckons you're the informed driver in Sydney, doing extremely well, kicking plenty of goals. Well done on your 4 winners tonight.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
500 metres left to go. Rainbow Jester, we're about to see him woken up once again and see what he's got left up the Menangle Straight. Second spot is San Juan Mountain. Third section was 30 and 4. And then comes second to none. And Lucius at the head of the others. Second to last, Majestic Funds. Last of all is Maroon Bells. But with 250 metres left to go, it is Rainbow Jester. He hasn't shaken the reins at the champ so far. He leads the way by a good margin. San Juan Mountain's trotting home resolutely. So is Lucius, but they are of no match to Rainbow Jester, who is full of quality. And Rainbow Jester, pretty much untouched, wins the Group 2. Second spot, San Juan Mountain. Third, Lucius. Fourth, second to none.
Group 2 action at Tabcorp Park, Menangle on Saturday night. Rainbow Jester taking out the Trot final for the babies, and he just continues to impress. When he does everything right, he's only done something wrong on 2 occasions. One time he was able to still win, but when he does it all right, he's just head and shoulders above his rivals at the moment. Dennis Day is the trainer driver. He's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, Dennis. Well done.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Greg.
Mate, pretty special baby trotter, this bloke.
Yeah, no, he's doing everything right, and that he's trotting nice and clean, and that, so all's good.
What were you? Was that basically his grand final for the preparation this time in?
Yeah. No, we sort of after he won the Nutrient final, and that we looked ahead for what was there, and that was sort of the end of what's available for him for the time being. Yeah.
So last night he had 6 rivals. 3 of them were up in the air early, and you didn't. You just allowed him to find his feet in the first 500 metres of the race.
Yeah. No, he come out nice and clean, and he was nice and settled. He trotted perfect last night.
And then just were happy to roll forward and get the lead by the time they got to the 800. He didn't look to get out of second gear. You didn't have to to rouse on him or hit him with a stick. He just did it all under his own steam.
Yeah, no, he's last, couple of the last 3 races have been pretty easy for him, which has been good. It sort of helped, I think, with their confidence.
What's he like at home? Does he get into his work, or does he need something working with him?
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. He just does a fair bit of work by himself, and that, when I need to give him a bit of work, I know very helpful. He always has something there that I can work him with, and that he just, he does a fair few miles, nice and slow, and that, no, he's pretty good.
And when he did that, when he made the error at Menangle, could you tell that he wasn't right that day? Did he feel like he was going to do something wrong?
Yeah, that was more my fault. I sort of planned to give him a bit of a break after Melbourne, and I did that. And someone told me you should have a look at the conditions for the final, and I didn't. It was first preference to horses that had started in 2 heats, and that, so I went through it, and there'd been about 8 that had already started in 2 heats, and when I looked, he had to, there was only that heat, then the next heat he couldn't go in it because I think it was up to 0 to 1 wins, and then the heat after he could go in it, so it was sort of forced to start him in that heat to make sure he qualified for the foundation final.
Yep.
And he was far too fresh for that. Like, I wasn't even planning to trial him for a couple of weeks after that race. But anyway, we went around and qualified for it, so it all ended well.
Yeah, it all ended well. He's owned by the family, so it's a really good story, this one.
Yeah, no, we went down to sales that year, his son Aaron and brother Mark and myself, and going down, Aaron said, if you're really looking to buy one, he said, you should really be looking at a trotter. He said, there's only X amount of them in the sale. He said, it wouldn't be hard to get one to make money. And anyway, we sort of just there looking at it. They seen him walking around the sale ring before he went in the ring, and everything looked all right with him, and that just sort of only cast their eye over him. And then Mark and Aaron, they were going to get another beer, and he was in the ring and wasn't going for much money. Anyway, Aaron stuck his hand up, and yeah, that was it.
Well, it's turned into be a pretty profitable one. He's nearly won $100,000 already. So what's he got left before the end of the year?
Yeah, I think the Redwood down at Maryborough, and then he's eligible for the Breeders' Crown. So those will be the next 2 options.
And they're going to be nice money races as well. So he could finish his two-year-old season up, well over the $100,000 mark, heading towards $200,000.
Yeah, but that competition down there will be a lot solider than what he's meeting at the moment. So, but anyway, he deserved his right to go and have a look at him anyway. For
sure and certain. In terms of his build, he looks on the telly. He looks a nice type of horse. In the flesh, what's he like?
Yeah, no, he's just a nice type. He's not over big, and that he sort of has a bit of presence on the track when he goes out. And that, but no, he's just a nice type of colt. It
was interesting. Obviously, living and working in Goulburn, at work the other day, a guy came in and started talking about him. So, obviously knew that I was interested in the trots, but just he's starting to get a little bit of notoriety around town. So people are starting to take notice of him. And it looks like you're going to have some fun with him for quite some time. So congratulations with the win on Saturday night, and all the best of luck going forward, mate.
All right, thanks very much, Greg.
Well, some big announcements during the week for Harness Racing New South Wales in regards to the Carnival of Cups, and especially Tamworth. A couple of weeks ago, we saw the new venues announced for the Carnival of Cups in later in this year and next year. And Paul Cochrane from Harness Racing New South Wales is joining me to have a chat. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Hazy, great to be on the show again.
Mate, no problems at all. Great to have you. Really big announcement this week with Tamworth's lineup for the Carnival of Cups being announced.
Yeah, we were really stoked to be able to put together a lineup that I think, is a little bit of country, a little bit of mainstream, crosses over genres. And, with Darryl Braithwaite, he's just a winner no matter where he goes, isn't he? He seems to pull crowds. He cuts through age groups and demographics, and we've got Darryl Braithwaite to headline Tamworth at Carnival of Cups. What a great get!
Yeah, he was loved when he did Cowra last year, and then you've been able to get him for Tamworth. Huge news there, but the Lane Pittman, he was on The Voice. He turned 4 chairs on The Voice. He sang a Luke Combs song there, and then he basically toured with Luke Combs when he was here in Australia. So
he's big time.
Yeah, he's a really good get.
Yeah, he's big time. And I tell you what, he's got the most impressive mullet in Australia too. So looking forward to getting a glimpse of that up close and personal. The lineup is next level, I think, for Tamworth. And what was really cool about it, like Lane's a young man who's emerging on the Australian music scene. It's not just the country scene. And I got in touch with him and said, hey, look, mate, we're about to announce this. I've got Darryl Braithwaite. And he was just wrapped. He said, I can't wait. He said, I've been wanting to play on the same lineup as this man for a long time. And I thought, okay, we probably got this pretty close to right, I think. We've got a sibling trio, the Buckleys as well. They're great. And Tori Dark, she went through The Voice as well. So, yeah, it's a really cool lineup. And then we've managed to, what we're trying to do with the Carnival of Cups in season 2 is put some local talent on show as well and really give locals an opportunity to embed into what we're doing and investing in communities. So young bloke Paul Cochrane is going to be on that program as well. So, yeah, I mean, they have established audiences in local communities, so they'll drag people along, but also just giving them a chance to be on a big stage in front of their home fans that support them all the time, week in, week out.
And importantly, you've been able to become part of the Country Music Festival there at Tamworth.
Yeah, and this is a really big deal, I think, because what it means is, our credibility as an event after, essentially less than 12 months has been proven. It's been established, and to have those high-end conversations with an iconic brand such as the Tamworth Country Music Festival is really important to us. Now, what we know is music acts want to be part of the official Tamworth Country Music Festival. So for us to be able to say, hey, we are part of it, that's a big deal in our efforts to try and sign music artists. It means that corporate brands and sponsors and partners can come along for the ride with us. But one of the great things we're going to be able to do this time around, Hazy, is we're the first night of the Tamworth Country Music Festival. We are the launch of the Tamworth Country Music Festival. There's another event in town as well, and we're not, trying to cannibalise anything that's happening there. But we are a free event on one of the biggest country music festivals in the world on opening night. It's really exciting that we're going to expose a whole heap of new people to harness racing.
Mate, the first Carnival of Cups is on the 20th of September, Parks. You've already announced the lineup there, the Living End, Shannon Noel, Robbie Mortimer's back as well. You've been able to get some really big guns for that first meeting for the Carnival of Cups.
Yeah, and the one you didn't mention there, Sarah Berkey, I'll tell you what, I reckon most people have seen a video of her. She went on pre-game or half-time or something like that at a Brisbane Lions game earlier this year, and she did the most beautiful cover of Take Me Home Country Road, the classic John Denver song, and it is viral 101, Hazy. It's probably been on every Instagram timeline at some point over the last few months. It's had over 3 million hits on YouTube. So I'm really excited to see Sarah on our stage. Robbie, he's part of the family. He did 3 of the Carnival of Cups for us last in season 1, and he was just jumping out of his skin to be part of it again. And the Mortimer family have been, as I said, part of the family through their winery as well. We've taken Mortimer's wines on the road with us for Carnival of Cups. The Living End just filled the house in Young last year, so really excited to bring them back. Lovely group of men to deal with. And Shannon Noel, I mean, it's not Noel's first rodeo at Carnival of Cups either. I know when you were you were involved with Harness Racing New South Wales. The previous iteration, you were on the road with Nosey as well, and as we both know, he fills the house as well. So, yeah, really cool lineup for Parks. And, you know, Parks weren't part of the rotation last year, so to bring them on board and give that Parks community and the neighbouring towns, because it's only a short drive from a lot of those neighbouring significant communities in and around Parks to get and be part of Carnival of Cups as well. Yeah, it's really exciting.
So looking at the dates, Parks the 20th of September, Young the 8th of November, Tamworth the 17th of January, Albury the 14th of Feb, and Penrith the 14th of March. A couple of new faces there, a couple of new places that the Carnival of Cups is going to. How did you come up with the 5 places that the Carnival of Cups will go to for 24-25?
Yeah, good question. Look, it was competitive. There's no doubt about it, and that's what we want. We want clubs that are really, keen to take on the Carnival of Cups, brand, I guess, and host these big time meetings. Look, there's no doubt that a whole series of criteria was established, and how we went through and picked some of these venues. Now, Tower and Goulburn put on fantastic events in season 1. There's no doubt about it. But this time around, our preference was to go to night racing and fill those premier Friday night slots. So a track with lights, became obviously, in order to race at night, lights on the track. So, yeah, that was a key criteria for us. But then also going into established communities with, populations that we know we can pull on people and expose new people to the audience, to harness racing, the ability to call upon corporate partnerships, infrastructure itself, and being able to, we build this like a proper music festival and a community event with, marquees and, pop-up bars and, all the infrastructure that goes with building a little tent city beside the racetrack. So all those things got run through a filter. Now, the other thing is, we didn't want to blow it up completely. So it's not like we were going to say, well, here's 5 venues that once had it, let's start again, because there is so much groundwork that goes into creating a footprint within a community with Carnival of Cups. So what we wanted to do was retain some of those existing host towns, because we've got links into local government, corporate relationships, infrastructure that is set up. So that's important to us as well, to continue and enhance on that. You were there last year at Carnival of Cups and you saw it firsthand, but what I can tell you as sort of the event manager of it, the minute people were walking in and seeing it, we were having sponsors and corporate partners and those type of high-end profile people coming up and saying, I want in this next year. How do I become part of that? So the next stage is really capitalising on that loop and making sure that we're building and we continue to enhance the product.
Mate, you mentioned the move to Friday nights as well, and I think that's big because you will attract the locals. Let's go out, beautiful free concert, big names coming out on a Friday night. Let's start the weekend the right way.
Yeah, and these are all ages events, so we start them at a really family friendly time. The kids have finished school, mum and dad have finished work. There's the opportunity if you're going to travel in from some of these neighbouring towns to come in and be part of it. And then we sort of incrementally build up to the headline act, I guess, at the end of the night. But, for anyone who hasn't been to a Carnival of Cups meeting, what we do is we wrap the music around the racing product. So we'll have a band play. They'll pretty much play right up to just before the score-up. The race will happen. When those horses are safely navigated past the finish line, and that's our priority, then the band will go again. And it continues to go through for sort of that 8-race card. And then we'll have a feature headline act after the last race with a full concert as well. So, that in itself is unique. A lot of racing products have bands come and play at the races, but they don't necessarily wrap around the racing product. And so what we've managed to do is come up with a system where we talk to bands and say, look, I need you to do sort of 25 to 28 minutes, have a break for 4 minutes, and then go again. So, and bands have been, once they understand what we're doing, they're really open to it and really keen to be part of it. So it's non-stop entertainment. You know, one of the challenges of racing, as you would know better than me, Hazy, is keeping people consistently engaged in between races. You know, we have that period of time when we've got to, you know, track prep. Horses have got to be getting ready. You know, drivers, trainers have got to be getting ready for that race. So there is almost a mandatory amount of time in between races that needs to happen in order to get the next race going. Well, what we're doing is we're providing the entertainment in between. So, you know, people, it's a bespoke product that we're really proud of, and you know, people walk away with a huge smile on their face and they've had the time of their life.
When will we hear who's going to be at Young? Is that a couple of weeks away, that announcement?
Oh, it's not too far, Hazy. I can tell you I've got a high-end conversation with a really high-profile Australian band that is in place at the moment, and I hope to be able to make that announcement any day now, to be honest. Young was actually our biggest crowd last year out of all the events. So, you know, we're really delighted about that. One thing we've done this year with Young too that probably should be mentioned is last year we ran concurrently with the Cherry Festival there, which is an annual event in that Young community. What we've decided to do is veer away from that and come slightly forward a couple of weeks in order to not completely clash with that event. And you know, all signs are pointing to yet again a really massive event there in Young. So, yeah, super excited. We won't be far away from announcing those bands. I can't wait to reveal that one.
It's you must feel like Santa, because you like when you make these announcements, you know, big names going to small country towns, and it's all free. That's the big thing. You know, like I was saying on Goulburn, I think the guy from Daddy Cool. He turned up to Goulburn, was charging $50, $60 a ticket. You come along, you see 3 or 4 big names, and it's all free.
Oh, I know. And, you know, in Goulburn, I remember standing beside the production tent at one point, and a bloke sort of tapped me on the shoulder. He thanked me, and he said, you know, thanks for bringing this to town. And then started to have a really robust conversation with me about who should have gone second last and who should have gone last. You know, oh, well, you know, if it was me, I would have had the Screaming Jets here and I would have had the Baby Animals there. And I said, mate, what are you worried about? You're getting both of them regardless of what order they're in. So, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. Like, you know, deliberately our methodology around this, Hazy, is to expose or re-expose people to racing. So people who haven't been to a racetrack for a fair while, you know, bring them back to the track and they get to, you know, see us at our best. They get to see the track completely, you know, decked out like a carnival. Like the branding implies Carnival of Cups. It looks like a carnival when you get there. It's something for all ages. There's trackside high-end music entertainment, and it's quite often songs or bands that you haven't seen ever, or you haven't seen them for a little while. So, you know, it's our age group, it's our demographic, and you know, the reality is, you know, we're probably at the age group of the demographic where we're more likely to consider investing in horse ownership. And that really is the call to action that we're looking for out of the Carnival of Cups, is people who want to become part of our industry. And, you know, 25,000 people came through the door in season 1. We would hope that will grow again. Now, if we can capture, you know, 1% of those people and 250 new owners into the industry, we'd be pretty happy with that.
You have hit the nail on the head. That is what it's all about. It is getting people to come to harness racing. We've got a great product. We've just got to let them know, and this is the perfect way to get to the people. Mate, thanks for joining me on a Sunday. I'm looking forward to the announcement at Young, and then, of course, we'll get through to Albury and Penrith. I'll catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Hazy. I can tell you that Albury is even bigger again.
Wow.
So, stay tuned.
Look forward to that. Thanks, mate.
Good on you, Hazy.
Time for the Menangle Express, and we start with race 1. Bluto was the favourite at $1.60. He zoomed off the wide draw and had crossed to the front by the time they arrived at the judge the first time. They settled into formation pretty quickly, so it was on the pegs Bluto, Little Bliss, High Voltage, Heavenly Holly, Tuppence and Roll Up, running line Port-au-Prince, Double Encounter, Jillaby Nitro, 27-1 and then 29-7 gave Bluto every chance to balance up and win this race. They did run a 28-5 third quarter, but the speed only seemed to go on late in that 400 metres. Jillaby Nitro had to take off a bit earlier than the turn as the running line horses weren't going anywhere, and then they all fanned. Bluto kicked away for the prize, but Jillaby Nitro got to him with 150 to go. Bluto lifted, but Jillaby Nitro proved too strong late. Fast last quarter, 26-9, 152-2 overall. Big effort, the winner. Bluto had every chance in front and was run down. He's been better than that in recent weeks. Little Bliss good, smart drive Josh Gallagher. Tuppence got to the outside, did his normal thing late, but the run of Heavenly Holly was the best outside the winner. Caught up, had to ease off the fence and then got caught up inside Tuppence again and had to come around it. Hit the line really well. Good run it, Heavenly Holly. Race 2, favourite Brooklyn Bridge at $2.80, and this was a good race with a lot happening. Speed galore, Arden's Ace, Brooklyn Bridge, Typo, Pete Said So. It launched from really wide and crossed the lot. Brooklyn Bridge kept coming through and got released, and the first quarter was 26-3. On the pegs, it was Brooklyn Bridge, Pete Said So, Arden's Ace, Malcolm's Rhythm, Master Catch. Off the pegs, Typo, still progressing. Star Major, Miss the Truth, Mac Da Vinci and Max Delight. Typo was allowed to roll to the front at the 900, but the damage had been done with a fast 27-5 first quarter. Everyone was now in play. Second quarter of 27-5. Old Max Delight took off 3 deep before the turn, which got a few going. 28 seconds for the third quarter. Up the straight, Star Major wobbled, which gave Brooklyn Bridge a shot to the outside of Typo. Typo left the pegs, which meant there was a run back to the inside. Malcolm's Rhythm aimed up for that run, but Pete Said So got there first. I reckon if Malcolm's Rhythm had been able to secure that run, we might have got a different result. It was a wall-chasing Typo, but to his credit, he held them all off in the straight. 27-5 home for a 149-3 win. So 26-3 first quarter, 27-5 second quarter. I'd say one of the best wins that Typo's produced in his career. Worked hard, was there to be beaten, but just kept on fighting in the straight. Of the beaten horses, Max Delight strong in second. Mac Da Vinci better this week after last week. Miss the Truth was better as well. Star Major tried hard after looking shot at the top of the straight. Pete Said So had his chance. Early work told on him. Brooklyn Bridge, you heard from Will Rixon. He thought he was flat. Malcolm's Rhythm, I say it every week, low flying, unlucky again. Had a lot to give by the looks of it, and so too did Arden's Ace, who was untested. Race 3, the fave was Ultimate Bird at $2.80. Speculating galloped as they said go and went sideways with Has the Courage and Way Out West, both copping some interference. Speed early from Golden Bay and Ultimate Bird, with Golden Bay crossing in a fast 26-1 first quarter. On the pegs, it was Golden Bay, Ultimate Bird, Dance and Deliver, Rockley Image, Has the Courage, Way Out West, Speculating. And that left Bartello off the peg stranded. 29-3 second quarter, and they quickened up through the third to 27-7. As Bartello slid up first over, Dance and Deliver waited until it got close enough and then popped off the inside, which was pretty close to the turn. Golden Bay kicked away. Ultimate Bird and Dance and Deliver kept coming. Rockley Image had to ease off the pegs to get into the clear and worked home well. Dance and Deliver is in great form. He got there 27-7 final quarter, 150.8 win. Ultimate Bird fought hard late. Good run from it after the early speed battle. Rockley Image is racing well. Has the Courage, did its thing, working home late. Way Out West flooded home when it was all over. Good run. Had traffic issues in the first 100 metres of the race. Race number 4, the favourite here was Corby Stumbler at $2.25. There was speed early from Corby Stumbler and Ryan's Gangster, with Ryan's Gangster crossing Corby Stumbler. Then on the pegs, it was Surf Ace, Shades of Heaven, Lockheed, Outside Fighter, Running Line, Captain Richie, I'm Rockin' It, and Turbo Tommy. 26-5 first quarter. Then it got very pedestrian through the middle. 30.9 and 28.2 for the middle half. There were no moves until the turn, and that's when I'm Rockin' It tipped out of the 1-1. Surf Ace had nowhere to go. Neither did Corby Stumbler. I'm Rockin' It hit the front. Ryan's Gangster rolled off the inside. That gave Corby Stumbler the run, but it was too late. Surf Ace worked into the clear and got home well. 27-4 up the straight for a 153 mile. Lockheed finished last but followed through behind Corby Stumbler and didn't do a bad job late. Not too much out of that one except for Corby Stumbler supporters. Race 5, 4 and 5-year-old Trot final. London to a Brick was the 160 favourite. She's Ruby Roo showed speed in the middle of the line and found the front. Jungle Eyes came off the arm well also. Pegs, it was She's Ruby Roo, On a Wing and a Prayer, LON, Razzle Me Dazzle Me. Running line was Jungle Eyes and London to a Brick. 29 seconds for the first quarter, and then 30.5 for the second. On a Wing and a Prayer started to tire at the cages, so it allowed Jungle Eyes to drop in on the pegs, which exposed London to a Brick and made his job just a little bit tougher. 27.9 third quarter, so the speed definitely went on in that 400. Up the straight, London to a Brick moved effortlessly up to She's Ruby Roo, and then Rattray had to ask him late to get past that mare, but it looked like London to a Brick clocked off, really. It was a race in two. 28-1 the final quarter. The mile, 155.5 for the Trotters. London to a Brick, he's in good form. Grant Forrest's Razzle Me Dazzle Me hit the line for third, but was 27 metres behind the winner. Race number 6, another trot. Victory Hill was the favourite at $3. It was a standing start event. Its Fergie time was slowly away. Now, Victory Hill began really well and then went up in the air 80 metres after the start and was out of play. Vic Sun began well and was the early leader. By the time they got to the cages the first time, Powder Keg was up in the air and galloped. It was out of play. Chief Running Cloud worked forward, took the lead off Vic Sun, and then Jakarta came forward and rolled to the top, and then Speedy Lover pushed forward and got the lead. And that's where the musical chairs stopped. So on the pegs, it was Speedy Lover, Jakarta, Chief Running Cloud, Vic Sun, Sally M, Valley Star. The running line was Sunny G, It's Fergie Time, Pharisee, and the Best Bourbon. 29.9 and 30.6 were the first two quarters. The speed was very even with the 29.6 third quarter. Nothing made a dash at the leaders, and it turned into a two-horse duel up the straight with Sunny G and Speedy Lover going at it. Kerry Ann Morris, she had to be really careful with the whip. She got herself into a bit of trouble with the stewards recently, but she did a good job with Sunny G, getting there narrowly to beat Speedy Lover. It's Fergie Time got third off the good run. Thought Valley Star got home well in the straight after being buried back in the ruck. 28.9 up the straight for a mile rate of 2 minutes and 5/10. Race number 7, this was the 2-year-old trot final at Group 2 level, and Rainbow Jester was the $1.18 favourite. 3 galloped in the first 100 metres of the race, so it was a race in 4. So Majestic Funds, Maroon Bells, and Monty all were out of play, which left the 4 of them. San Juan Mountain began well, showed speed to lead. Second to none dropped on to the pegs. Lucius went 3 pegs, and Rainbow Jester just balanced up at the back of the field. 29.1 first quarter. Rainbow Jester was let go at the 1,000, and by the time they'd got to the 800, he was in front. 30.6 the second quarter, and simply he just had to trot the rest of the way to win. 30.4 round the side, 29 seconds up the straight, 159.1 the mile. Impressive effort from the youngster, never in any danger, never out of second gear. San Juan Mountain did everything right this week, battled on really well. Lucius grabbed third off second to none. Rainbow Jester, a bit better than the rest at the moment. Race number 7, race 8, I should say. The favour was Uga Chaka at $2.30. There was speed early from Palatino, who charged across from out wide, but Joni N didn't want to sit behind Palatino, so it came off the inside for the retake. On the pegs, Joni N, Palatino, Sunday Mornings, Our Uncle Jim and Kaitoa. Running line, Tishan Raider, Uga Chaka, Sheffield Sparky, waved the bill, major statement. 26.7 for the first quarter. And then Tishan Raider went forward to try and get the lead off Joni N and was successful by the time they got to the half. 29.1 the second quarter. Now, that move exposed the fave, Uga Chaka. 29 seconds for the third quarter, no moves. As they turned for home, Sheffield Sparky tipped out of the 1-1. Joni N was looking for a run. Uga Chaka was doing his thing after sitting parked. They all had their shot, but they couldn't reel in Uga Chaka, and it was too strong in the straight for a 152.4 win. Now, I'm not getting too wrapped up in the victory. Uga Chaka was better than its rivals, but I don't think there's a lot of depth in that form, so don't get too carried away. Win of the night, comfortably, Typo. Worked like the devil, still proved too strong. Interesting to see what Brad Hewitt thinks, but I don't think I've seen a much better performance from that horse since he's arrived in Australia. Really tough win. Best beaten effort of the night. I keep talking up Malcolm's Rhythm, and he was good again on Saturday night, so he definitely remains in the black book. But Corby Stumbler, unlucky. Showed speed, then got caught up behind the leader, and when the run finally did appear, it was too late. It's going well, Corby Stumbler. And best driver of the night, I'm going to go with, Will Rixon drove half the card, so it's pretty hard for him not to win this. His drive on Dance and Deliver was perfect. Didn't leave the pegs until he had to. Proved too slick up the straight. Young guy, driving up a storm at the moment. Best driver of the night, Will Rixon.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
And the winner is...
Mr. T got the winner during the week. We're all square at minus $14 in this second round of the tipping challenge. Mr. T got a winner with Deadeye Tiki winning at Young. I don't need to say Bathurst Wednesday fields, they're not out, so he's not happy. This week, Mr. T's going to Menangle on Tuesday. Race 8, number 10, Erupt Stride. Now, it's had a few runs back from the long break. Cam Hart takes the drive this time around, and Mr. T's confident that the recent runs will have brought the horse on enough to get him back into the winners list. So, Race 8, number 10, Erupt Stride. And then in race 9, number 5, Amore in Feeder. Last start winner, gets to go around in Tuesday company. Looks a really good race for the mare. Possesses that good early gate speed. Looks very hard to beat in that company. So going with the Kevin Pizzuto trained mare, Amore in Feeder. My two at Menangle, I'm going to go race 3, number 10, Gunner. The trotter has been placed at 2 of its last 3. Really well placed with the claim for Ash Delosa. In fact, Ash has driven him to his last 2 wins, so she has obviously got a good connection with him. Despite the wide draw, I think he's going to take some beating, and that should push him back into Saturday night company. Race 3, number 10, Gunner for Howard James, and race 6, number 7, Cobalt Stride. Another one of the Rosati horses coming off a really long break. Hasn't raced since 2021, but has been at the trials, finds himself in a really winnable race, gets the services of Cam Hart, and I think it can bounce straight into the winners list. That's race 6, number 7, Cobalt Stride. Just about wraps up the podcast this week. Now, I'm off to Tasmania for a week's break, but I'll still put a podcast together next weekend, so make sure you join me for that. Big thank you to my guests, Will Rixon, Dennis Day, and the Marketing and Communications Manager for Harness Racing New South Wales, Paul Cochrane. Catch you next week for another edition of the Sunday Session. Bye for now.